of money can buy. There's no truth that can be spoken anymore. There's no door that I dare leave open anymore. Since I traded my son, my beautiful son, for a note of cold cash. I'm really walking up to the door.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hi, Sunday. Now, where will the world get its fashion sense? Where is Tomasso? One arm is missing from this jacket. The only shoes I have left are patent leather. No problem. Tomasso could always make it look good. Screwing the world hard between its ears. In my mind, Tomasso is stepping out on life like he would step out on the town. Beaming. Thank you all for loving Tomasso. He was amazing. Amazing.
Tomasso used to say to me all the time, "Huberman is no money in poetry." I said, but Tomasso, maybe no Huberman. There's no money in poetry. And then when the poetry thing exploded in the late 80s, no, the late 90s, you know, and everybody was on the cover of New York magazine, I said, Tomasso, it looks like there's money in poetry. And he would say, Huberman, there's no money to me and you in poetry. Okay, now we're going to perform Three Black Women, Prologue, Chrissy, and I'm going to start. I sleep in a room with 3 black women. 2 of them sleep all day. The third rises early and mops the floor around and under the bed. The scent of pine, her perfume.
For breakfast, she bakes a cake and feeds us spoon for spoon. She rinses all our bedwear and leaves them in the sun to dry. She bathes our faces, she bathes our eyes, she bathes our backs, she quiets our cries.
I sleep in a room with 3 black women. The third is not our mother, and we 3, the 2 black women and I, that cry.
We are neither her child, nor are we free of her womb. Thank you.
Figure out the puzzling. So, bird's eye story of the time. And, I remember when he'd go down Wall Street a lot with his spare change. Swear to God. Meeting one of the waiters, that rare hide of Naga hide and polyester. You had pockets out here, change. I mean, nobody ever said no to him that way. And I again, like Rob said, wonderful he was here, and he is in spirit, and he was from 85 to 90 at Rio. He really put a face on the passion. Spoken word that we call. An elder statesman. Back when we were all 20-something, back when we were all young and unafraid, and now we're 30-something, 40-something, 50-something, 60-something, 70-something, you all know who you are. And anyway, this is his poem that he wrote here. It's called No Sale. Young men and old men sitting across coffee tables. The youth, they mourn their lack of cash. The age, they strive to meet to make ends meet. The aides, they mostly listen, searching out each moving part. The youth, their voices high, their fingers tapping, nervously contrived. Well, perhaps I'll operate a cab as soon as I learn to drive. The aides, they nod their head. There's good money in that. I can always join the force, you know, the youth reflects, but somehow the police rub me the wrong way. It's not what it used to be. The age agrees. But someone's got to do it. He hands the youth a $1 bill. I'll have the same. No cream, no sugar. You have one too. Enough money there. The youth, the eyes, the remaining bills in the aged hand. I'll have a burger if you don't mind. Another bill is tossed his way. That's the best I can do this evening. Maybe there'll be lots more next time. The youth, he scowls, and he heads right for the exit door. Rest in peace.
I met Tomasso at Centerfold Gallery, I think in the early 90s. First reading I ever went to, and there he was. I always enjoyed hanging out with him. He had a very devious, humorous mind. And I liked the way that he could read anything from a misanthropic rant to singing a show tune, all in the same reading. And what I'm about to read is no show tune. I live in a room all by myself. I live in a room all by myself. I never go outdoors. Yes, I live in a room all by myself. I never go outdoors. Food and medical and spiritual services are provided with care. Toilet facility and furniture repair are better than adequate. Fresh linen, cleanliness, and a kind word, courtesy of Fred. I live in a room all by myself. I never go outdoors. Some days I crawl on all fours. The window ledge beckons me. The window ledge beckons me. Thank you.
Here for more than a year, and we actually had a memorial for him. Where the fuck is Tomasso? Where everybody cried, but this time supposedly somebody had seen the corpse. So, Tomasso, this is the second one for you. Really? How he dispelled that was coming out of a bar, not a block from here, and Tomasso was standing outside, asking people on the way out, "You like poetry? You like poetry?" I said, "Tomasso? This guy gives me a big hug with a scarf around his neck and a hat. I said, I thought you were dead." He said, "No, I'm very much alive." So we stood out there all night doing poems. The last time I saw Tomasso, he asked me a question. It was outside the New Yorican Poets Cafe, and there was some flavor of the month was inside doing his feature read. And we were outside in the cold doing poems with the camera, the ham, and he turns to me and he turns halfway to the camera and he says, Joseph, what is the reward for a life of poetry? He stumped me. He says, what do we get? Do we get a little chippy in our later years who just loves what we have to say? I said, Tomasso, I have no idea. We do it for our other poets. We do it to get the work out and to touch the souls of like-minded poets. Anyway, out there in the cold, I asked him to recite the first poem that I ever heard him do, and the first poem he claims he ever did on stage. And it's called Ode to Balducci. And he did this poem, and I never saw him again. And it goes like this. I'll try to do my best, Tomasso. It's fun to steal bananas. The shopkeeper is unaware. If what you take is an apple, an orange, or a pear, it's fun to steal bananas and share them with your friends and have them dine on flank steak, caviar, and wine, which is all yours and not mine. Thank you.
I don't know how many of you heard this story, but in line with what Joe was saying, I mean, Tomasso had disappeared from time to time, but it just seemed like he disappeared for too long a time. And I guess it was a little over a year when I started to get concerned, and I said something to Juicy. I said, have you seen Tomasso? And I called up Zora. Have you seen Tomasso? You know, where is he? It just seemed like a longer time. And by that time, he had moved to Newark and was living in a kind of an adult home there, but was coming on the PATH train, and had reunited with his family after a long break. And Juicy had sent a couple of letters, I think, over there, and she never heard a word. And I said, well, let me see if I can do something. Well, I spoke to the manager of the place where he was living, who told me that Tomasso died, now it would be a little over a year and a half ago. Okay? So I started to say, well, we should do a memorial for him. And I thought, we'll do it this fall, meaning fall of 2004. And, but I didn't trust that he was really dead. And I wanted to get in touch with the family for two reasons. One, because he would never give poems away, and I wanted to get poems, so I thought the family would have them. And two, to confirm that he really was dead. So I sent a letter, instead of trusting the manager, who was kind of an asshole, really. Trusting the manager, I sent a letter with a self-addressed stamped envelope made out to Tomasso, just to the son, because I knew the son. I knew there was at least one son. He actually had, I guess, a daughter and a son. Two sons and one daughter. And Mary Lou wrote the thing that's on the back of the program. So I sent a letter, a self-addressed stamped envelope, to the son, through the manager, who actually sent it out. The son was away. And he arrived home on Sunday, and he looked through his mail. This is about 10 weeks ago or something, I guess. He looked through the mail, and lo and behold, there was my letter that was forwarded. This was like 12:30 in the afternoon on Sunday when he came back from this trip, and he just said, I'll open this up. He opened it up, and in the letter I said, your late father, Tomasso. A half hour later, the son gets a phone call from the nursing home where Tomasso was, that Tomasso had died. And I mean, they wouldn't even know to contact us. All my contact information was there. So I get home Monday. Our group was rehearsing that night at our house, and there's these messages from Mary Lou, his daughter, because she wanted to know about Tomasso's poet side, because the family really didn't know anything about that. Wow. So when the funeral was that week, I think on Wednesday or something, they had some information about this side of Tomasso's life. And a number of us went to the funeral, and we saw him. And this poem was actually written on it was on the inside of the coffin. And I transcribed it off the coffin. And after I read this poem, we're going to show a videotape. It's about 5 or 6 minutes long of Tomasso at an evening for, I think it was a Carrari reading at Cafe Nico, I don't know when, 93, 94. And I thought Tomasso should have the last word. So I'm going to read this little poem that was on the inside of his coffin. We're going to play the tape, and that will be the reading. And thanks all for coming and supporting this. Event.
Also at the end, right? That's what I'll do?
Oh, is this your Angela?
Yeah.
You're here a little late. Okay.
No, I've been here the whole time.
Oh, okay. Well, we didn't realize you were here.
Oh, okay. I figured I better
Okay, you can do that after the tape then. We'll do the tape and then you can read your piece. This was on the inside of the coffin. I've got to find another garden. I've got to find another place to rest. I've got to find another garden. I've got to find another friend. I've got to find another place that shades me best.
And I'm going to do a song for you, okay? It's dedicated to all those great guys that made it like 70, 75, you know, like Sinatra and Bennett and Victor Ball and a few others. I can't think of all those old names. So many of them I remember. Because that thing always was the greatest. The greatest, as everybody else. And it's called I knew them all at the start of their career. Why, I knew them all, song after song, year after year. Why, I knew them all at the peak of their success. And I knew them all when they had no poverty. Yes, I knew them all when their cheeks they sprung like gold. And I knew them all long before they all got old. Yes, I knew them all since Ben Harry was a street. Yes, I knew them all, they were glad for them. To me, oh, I knew them all in a place called Tinseltown. I knew them all where you never ever dare to frown. Yes, I knew them all. I've watched them grow, rise, higher and higher, till they reach the sky. That's why they call them stars. The higher they got, the lower I got. Hello? Is this Hollywood 4-678-2111? It is? Nick? Nick, is this you, Nick? It's me, Tommy Delphine. I went to school with you. Remember Miss Wimbacher? You had a crush on her. Yeah, PS-42, remember? Well, you and I were two bugs in a round. Wasn't it? You can't think right now? How did I get your number? I told the operator it was an emergency. He always told me you love me like a brother. So I told him my brother. What? I shouldn't do what? I shouldn't call you at this number anymore. I should write to a studio and they'll send me a picture with your voice. No, this is me. Tommy Delphine. Don't you remember all the dreams we planned, all the secrets we shared? Don't you remember, Nick? Are you still upset because I didn't join in Hollywood? Nick, you know I I couldn't leave my mother. I'm taking care of her. Look at it this way. At least one of us making you. If I was there, I would have gotten your way. Maybe you would have gotten my way. Hit another World War II. Bombs, bombs, boom, 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 all over the place. Guys getting their heads smashed in, their legs smashed in. Guys were going bananas. Then the Nick at the railroad station, all those bodies coming home, those cars with coffins, the flags draped over them. We were up there at the train station, remember? We were both fluorescent. We cried. I cried. You hug me. That'll make you sound what have I done to you lately? You know what I mean? Oh, what a good fucking prick. But I love you. Yes, folks. I'm wrong. At the start of their career. Yes, I was alone. Song after song. Yeah, was here. All I was wrong at the peak of their success. Yes, I knew them all when they had no clothing dress. Yes, I knew them all when their cheeks were burnt like gold. I knew them all before they all loved. Yes, I knew them all. Yeah. I'll get this thing.
Okay, Angela Palouse is going to come up, and she will finish the reading today. Angela.
First of all, I'm very happy to be involved in this, and I'd like to thank the organizers for putting together such a beautiful job here. I first met Tomasso in the mid-'80s at Centerfold, and then saw him later down ABC No Rio, occasionally Lolita Java, and he came to many of my readings at the Monkey's Paw in Sheridan Square Park when I was holding those, and that had to be probably in the mid-'90s. And I'll say one thing about Tomasso. He was always full of surprises. There was always something new under the sleeve that just kept you wanting to see him. This is Tomasso's That's What I'll Do. I wish I could write about mountains and rivers and stars, but I know not one thing of mountains, rivers, and stars. I would love to write about the boll weevil, but alas, all that I know of the boll weevil is what my Webster tells me so. So, what do I know about mountains and rivers and stars or pantyhose or hula hoops or cappuccino or microwave ovens or nuclear physics or forest rain of mountain warmings or triple bypasses? What do I know? And what do I know of the sun and the moon and of asparagus? What do I know? Can I tear them apart? Can I measure their heart, examine their soul, unscramble their brain with my pen and my ink? Can I lick their wounds? Can I? Till then, I'll stick to what I know best. Just people. People like you. People like me. People like them. People like us. And people in general. That's what I'll do. Thank you all so much.
Thank you all for coming, and thanks to Bowery Poetry Club for making this possible today.